Hello, my friends. I was thinking today that if we had known that we are actually souls, not bodies, that would have created a totally different world. Isn't that true, my friends? Let's explore the kind of world that would have evolved if we had known our true identity. That is, we are souls, not bodies. Let's begin. My friends, if we truly understood and internalized the belief that we are primarily souls, not bodies, it would fundamentally reshape how we view ourselves, others, and the world around us. My friends, this paradigm shift would influence everything from our relationships and societal structures to our personal priorities and the purpose of life. Point number 1. If we saw ourselves as souls, we would value spiritual growth and inner development over material wealth and physical pleasures. My friends, currently much of the world is driven by materialism, with people often defining success by financial status, possessions, and physical appearance. Recognizing the soul as our true essence or our true identification would shift focus from the temporary and transient world, that is, bodies and material possessions, to the eternal and more meaningful pursuit of spiritual connection, morality, and purpose. My friends, there would be a lifestyle shift. I mean, the pursuit of consumerism would diminish. People would focus more on promoting inner peace, personal growth, and nurturing virtues like compassion, patience, and humility. Point number 2. If we understood ourselves as souls rather than bodies, human relationships would transcend physical appearances, racial and ethnic differences, or socioeconomic status. We would see each other as fellow souls on a shared journey, emphasizing empathy, love, and kindness over divisive factors like wealth and physical traits. My friends, this would reduce prejudice and discrimination. Concepts like racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination would become irrelevant. Point number 3. Believing that we are actually souls on a spiritual journey would promote greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. I mean, the focus would shift from the temporary worldly achievements to eternal values, which would encourage people to live meaningful lives in alignment with their higher selves. My friends, instead of chasing material success, people would seek to fulfill their deeper, intrinsic purpose. This could involve service to others, acts of kindness, and striving to live in accordance with divine will or higher moral principles. Point number 4. My friends, most fears around death arise from identifying solely with the body. When we realize we are souls, death would no longer be viewed as a tragic end, but rather as a transition or return to a higher spiritual realm. My friends, many religions already emphasized the eternal nature of the soul. If we lived with a constant awareness of our soul's journey beyond this life, we would make decisions based on the long-term consequences rather than short-term gains. Isn't that true, my friends? Point number 5. Seeing ourselves as souls would transform global values and ethics. There would be a stronger collective emphasis on sustainable living, justice, and harmony. My friends, the exploitation of the environment and other human beings would become morally unacceptable as people would recognize the interconnectedness of all souls. Point number 6. My friends, if we viewed ourselves as souls rather than bodies, then mental, emotional, and spiritual health would take precedence over physical appearances and temporary pleasures. My friends, healthcare systems would focus more on mental, emotional, and spiritual healing, understanding that these aspects play a critical role in overall well-being. Practices like meditation, prayer, and mindfulness would be widely recognized for their profound impact on health. Point number 7. My friends, education systems would be transformed to focus not only on academic and technical skills, but also on developing spiritual wisdom and moral values. Instead of a competitive race toward career and financial success, education would focus on cultivating wisdom, ethical decision-making, and emotional intelligence. Success would be redefined as living a virtuous and spiritually conscious life. Point number 8. When we identify ourselves as souls, the lines between the self and the others would blur. My friends, we would naturally become more compassionate, recognizing that all human beings are interconnected and share a common spiritual origin. My friends, wars and conflicts, which often arise from territorial, religious, or ideological disputes, would reduce. Point number 9. My friends, if we identified ourselves as souls, then the ego, which thrives on external achievements, pride, and self-image, would lose its dominance. We would be less attached to our status, possessions, and the opinions of others. My friends, people would likely live more humble lives, dedicated to serving others, rather than seeking personal fame or recognition. My friends, I hope all these observations make some sense to you. Let me conclude by saying that if we identified ourselves as souls rather than bodies, that would create a fundamentally different world, a world driven by spiritual awareness, empathy, justice, and inner fulfillment rather than materialism, selfishness, and superficial attachments. My friends, this shift in consciousness would lead to a more compassionate, peaceful, and just society where people strive to live in harmony with one another and in alignment with higher moral values and spiritual truths. My friends, I am sure you must have realized by now how a different perspective can completely change our world. I think it's extremely important that we know ourselves, what we are. Otherwise, we may continue on a path that may never satisfy us. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.